All right, St. Louis. We're going to go to school today, St. Louis. I want you to sit down for a second because we have no choice, St. Louis. We're following the path in which we know not that this path is taking us somewhere in which we must not go. It's imperative that we come to realize that from the beginning of humanity, we've been following deception. And the reason we've been following deception from the beginning of humanity is because from the beginning, the first living organism was born in darkness. And as a result, that living organism mated with the other living organism. And as a result, we stayed in the darkness in which they began. And the reason we stayed in darkness for so long is because we never became complete. We must begin to understand that from the beginning, when the Bible talks about Adam and Eve, we turned that into truth, but that's an allegory. When the Bible talks about that they ate from the tree, we turned it into the truth, but that was an allegory. We must begin to understand that everything that was created by the undeveloped mind. And what I'm saying is that the undeveloped mind could only understand things at its undeveloped self. So as a result of the undeveloped mind beginning to believe that it knew the truth, but yet it can only calculate what it was seeing based upon the strength of itself, which was undeveloped, it built a false perception of reality. But it didn't know that it didn't know because it never had the power to know, because it would always perish before it reached completion. When the Bible says those that endure till the end shall know the truth, that's a legitimate statement. But in most cases, not many endure until the end. And the reason they don't endure until the end because they've already came up with an understanding as to what the end was. And the end was to them was to be with God, to leave here, to get their wings. That's an allegory. Those that endure till the end, in other words, to become completely whole, in which the first living organism was not completely whole, but yet before it reached completion, it would always decay because it didn't realize that it was going the wrong way. In other words, just imagine yourself coming into the world as we know world, and as a result, we continue to follow the same trajectory in which we were taught based upon what they consider to be the laws of thermodynamics. Entropy shall increase in this world, chaos and disorder in this world. Based upon entropy increasing cause and effect, we must literally come up with ways of literally stopping the effect. So as a result of trying to stop the effect, based upon policemen, firemen, doctors, and lawyers, based upon mental institutions, hospitals, and judges, we all were following the trajectory of the laws of thermodynamics, thinking that we could stop the effect, but we could never stop the cause. The cause came when you reach this world, because the cause will ultimately cause an effect because you're going the wrong way. Let me explain. If I say to you that the universe is expanding, like most cosmologists and astrophysicists believe, and if I say that the double slit theory says that if you send a particle through a slit or a photon through the double slit, it will create a wave if you're not looking at it. But once you look at it, make observation, it becomes a particle. So that clearly tells me everything is based upon us making observation and whether or not it's going to become a particle. So if we look at it, it's a particle. If we don't look, it's a wave. So that tells me the observer of what's making the observation is the one that's blind, because he's the one or she's the one making the observation. So if your mind is not developed, it's going to be a particle and you're not going to see it as it truly is. However, once your mind becomes developed, you begin to see the wave in a different reality. But unfortunately, all those that came before us, from the intellectuals, educators, to PhDs, JDs, had not the developed mind to understand this concept. So as a result, they believed and allowed the world as it is to remain to be as it once was. So this world became the beginning and the end. This world became conservation of energy, which is conserved from the system, which is an algorithm. We unfortunately are illiterate. We are capable of becoming so powerful, but yet we're looking for someone outside of ourselves to save us. You must become whole yourself. In other words, from the beginning, we were born in darkness, and from the beginning, we were literally going towards our grave. We'd never reverse the laws of thermodynamics to be able to go back into the opposite direction, reversing the laws of thermodynamics and building a mountain that had never been built nor seen before. We've formulated false religion, false doctrine. We formulated all kinds of things, from computers, semiconductors, to transistors that operate based upon heat. This is what we formulated, and what formulated it was the undeveloped mind. We came up with gasoline extracted from coal, put it in our cars, and subsequently allow us to move. But yet that poison had to leave the exhaust, and it's also poisoning those that are within the system. You tell me, how can you go into a garage and take the exhaust and put it in your car, and subsequently you die of carbon monoxide poison? And you can't die being that you in a system which you got everybody driving cars, and that exhaust is literally hitting everybody. You're just dying a little slower than you would have died if you would have got it concentrated. So as a result, your cells are mutating, making bad copies of themselves, which is enabling you to be able to see the things you're capable of seeing, because you haven't reached the level of perfection to know that you are Alpha and Omega, first and the last. You are that bright and morning star. We must come to the realization that there's no one outside of us but us becoming that perfect sound, that perfect light. And that light is what we call God. The time is not tomorrow. Damn it, the time is today for us to say all or nothing. Because if we don't, all will remain the same. It's showtime. We can't look at what was. We got to look at what is now. Our young kids are dying. They're seeking after love and help and hope. But yet, the parents, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, all have been illiterate because they didn't know that they were supposed to bring the truth, but yet they had babies before they knew the truth, and the babies had babies, and as a result, we stayed in the system that's straight from hell. Wake up. I'm not playing the radio in this season. It's showtime. God bless you all and wake you up in this season. It's time. It's time. God bless.